And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Destroyer of Words. So this is a word game. In fact, it's definitely based on Scrabble to some degree, except in this game you're destroying words. It's like attack Scrabble, definitely with a rock motif to it. Let's see if it's good or not. In this game, players are going to have a corner of the board, or if you're playing two players, half of the board, and you'll have your own color that you'll have your own rack for, and you're going to fill it with letters from the bag. Now you'll notice these letters can be a little confusing when you look at them, but the white spot always faces the same direction. It's the top of the letter, and when you place them on the board, you'll place them on any way you place them on the same way that you would place and everyone else has placed them. So on a player's turn, the first thing you can do is you can build words. So you can take the letters here, and let's see, I might be able to do boat, right? So I'll take these letters here, and my first word has to go over this center eyeball here. After that, it doesn't matter. You can build new words. They don't even have to connect to each other. I probably do want them to connect to each other so that I can do an attack. So, because you have to cover up one of these to do an attack, so I could put the word tie here. Now, in the first turn of the game, you can't do any attacks, but after that, you can use your letters to attack other players. So let's say it's my turn, and I'm going to put the word road out here. And you're allowed to actually go into your opponent's areas with your word as long as at least one letter is in your area. So here I put out the word road. And remember, words don't have to connect to each other as the game goes by. But now I'm going to do an attack. So I used 4 letters this turn out of 9. So what I'll do is I'll look at my board over here to see how many letters I have left, and you will see what kind of attack. Here I can do an undefiner. Then if I had used more, I could do an executioner, or eventually I could do an erasinator. So you're going to pick where you're going to do the attack from and follow the points on that attack. So with my road here, there's points that go up, down, and over. This road goes in that direction. This O shoots this direction. And I'm realizing suddenly that I'm really not going to be able to do too much damage. Why? Because I built the word road, which means I have a range of 4. But because of where the arrows are pointing, I'm not going to be able to hurt a lot of things. Now, if I had done this O here, which has a different attack thing, then I would do 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 diagonally. There's my attack. So let's say I had done that instead. So I go up here and I'm going to blow up this letter, 1, 2, 3, 4. The undefiner kills 1 letter. And then you look and see if you kill any bonus. Now this word here is still a letter. It's fish. It was selfish. But SE is not a letter, so this S also gets blown up. Now depending on where they are, depends on where you're going to put them in your alpha pit. All right, so over here, these were both in the middle of the board, so they're going to be worth 2 points for me at the end of the game. While if they were in the middle, they're worth 1, and if they're in the corners when I kill them, they're worth more than that. So what I just did was the undefiner attack, you hit 1 tile. An executioner, if you did that, not only would I have hit that tile, I would have also hit and destroyed the tiles next to it, which in this case would also have destroyed this, because ish is not a word, N is not a word, TA is... Yeah, those will all be gone. I would get a whole ton more letters. And then erasinator would kill every letter in between. In this case, there wasn't any, but it also destroys everything that you pass through to get to the word that you want to. That's pretty much it. You're just going to keep going around till the bag runs out of letters. At that point, you're going to get points for all the letters that you've killed, plus you'll get 1 point for every letter that you have still remaining on your side of the board. Whoever has the most points is the winner. You can definitely see there's a motif to the game, right? It's pretty obvious, all this weird gobbledygook and stuff. The letters themselves, unfortunately, are not that easy, and I'll tell you what, I know that white is at the top, but every game of this I played, people have mixed up the W's and the M's, and in fact, the M looks more like a W than it does like an M, I think. That is a W. They're both W's. They're different. It's so confusing. And the white goes at the top. You need to remember that. And then there's these points and these arrows, and it's not always easy to see. And when everything's on the board, it does kind of really gel together. The board and the tiles are okay quality. These boards are nice. You have different color boards. And if you like this motif, but don't go into this thinking there's high quality components here, because there's not. All right, so the game is it's Rock Scrabble. It's Scrabble where you attack. It's Scrabble that you can play with Grandma, who also likes heavy metal music. I'm not really seeing the combinations here. So Scrabble's kind of a game. It's not one I like, but obviously a lot of people do. But the attacking here sounded entertaining. Unfortunately, there's a big minus here to this game simply for how it looks. It's confusing. It's not easy to see the words. The whole thing just kind of is like, components aren't great. Secondly, who's asking for this? This is funny, but most of the people I think who are a big fan of the theme are probably not a big fan of word games. Although, again, I'm stereotyping and maybe there is the mix. A lot of it though. But thirdly, it's just not a good game. You just take the letters in your rack and you make words. You don't even need to combine them. There's no points for making words, and then you just shoot off an attack and just watch the chaos begin. I blew up this letter, and that blew up a bunch more letters, and I get points. At the end of this game, I never think the best person won. The person who just got a nice lucky shot in that blew up a whole bunch of stuff is the winner. And there's just this constant blowing stuff up on the board. You sit there and think about making a word. How the word attacks isn't anything. You're just trying to get as many letters on the table as possible. There's no defense. It's just attacking. It's just, you're destroying words. And I think this is like a joke that was made into a board game. Now, I normally like a lot of the stuff Prospero Hall does. They're the designers of this for Mixlr. But in this case, I thought it was a ha-ha moment with some funny ideas, but at the end of the day, it's not a game that I want to play. Now, maybe there is a very specific audience out there that wants to play this, but instead I think this will be a funny game that will be the answer to a trivia question someday in the future. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. See you next time. Dice Tower Judgment, amusing concept, but not for me. Destroyer of words! Words!